Hey there, Dr. Travis Fisher. I'm a chiropractor. I'm here to share with you some non-surgical tips to help you with your back pain. Singapore is filled with people who sit at their desks all day. When we sit for long hours, we start to shift our posture into a very predictable pattern where 99% of the population is starting to move into this dangerous pattern where essentially the head over time is starting to translate forward, the shoulders are rounding forward, and our pelvic area is starting to tilt and it's rounding the mid and low back. Sarah's going to help to demonstrate some stretches and exercise. So the first one we're going to stretch is the hip flexor, because when we're in a seated position, this becomes shortened between the leg and the spine. So Sarah, take a big step forward into like a lunge position. So we want to also imagine here that we're lengthening the spine. The head is lengthening up towards the ceiling. There are a couple common mistakes here. One is that we tend to want to have the knee go past the foot. We want to keep the knee directly on top of the ankle. And the other common mistake is that we get tired and we start to lean onto our front body. So I would suggest that in order to keep our balance, we use either a table or a chair next to us. Because what we want to do is we want to drop the hips straight down, and we're going to actually be stretching this front part of the leg into the hip area. That's a good stretch for the hip flexor. You want to hold that anywhere between 30 to 60 seconds, and you always do both sides. Also realize that anytime you're doing any type of stretching routine, do it after the body is already warmed up. You don't want to stretch cold muscles or cold body parts. There's two different ways you can do this. We're going to start with a casual kind of cross-leg position here, figure 4 position. Another way you can do this is if you're laying on your back, you can actually pull the leg and the knee and the ankle up towards your chest as you're laying on your back. But we're going to do this version seated. So now, what I'm going to have Sarah do in just a moment, go ahead and stand up nice and tall. You want to lengthen the spine again, and you don't want to ever round the back. You want to imagine that you're just hinging at the hips forward, okay? So Sarah's going to hinge at the hips forward, lean forward. She'll start to feel a bit of a stretch through the kind of glute area. That means you're really pulling and stretching on that piriformis. People who have tight piriformises have a difficult time with sitting for long periods of time, or even sometimes standing for long periods of time. It'll start to create a uncomfortable sensation from the hip area down into the leg itself. So this next exercise is a very simple exercise. We're going to strengthen the glutes area, and we want to also start to tighten up some of the core and the posterior muscle chain area as well. So she's in the perfect position here. You're going to get on your back or maybe on a yoga mat, something on the floor. The knees are going to be bent here. The ankles are pretty well stabilized underneath the knee, and we want to activate the glute muscles. So Sarah's going to squeeze her glute muscles, and then she's going to at the same time lift up in the air here. And notice how she's doing a really good job of keeping a straight line here between her back, her glutes, and her leg. And you're going to hold that for 3 to 5 seconds, and then back down. And then squeeze the glutes and lift up again. And you're going to do this anywhere between 10 to 20 times. The next stretch that we want to do here is what's a hamstring stretch. There's a couple of different ways you can do this. You can do this standing, but I like to I like to get into the laying down position so that we keep the back relaxed and straight. So what we're going to do, now you can use like a yoga strap or a stretchy band. If you don't have anything like that, you can just use a towel from home or like a belt. And you're going to wrap it around the ball of the foot, just below, not perfectly in the center, just more towards the ball of the foot. And you're going to gently pull and keep the legs straight. Now Sarah is, again, she's very flexible here. So some of you might only get to this area here. And you're going to hold that stretch for 20 to 30 seconds. Now, before you go down, what I want you to do, notice that the other leg is bent. After you reach that 20-30 seconds, then I want you to slowly straighten this leg, because then that will amplify the stretch a bit between the hamstring area here. So the next exercise, we're going to focus in between the shoulder blades area. Many times when we're seated all day long, our head shifts forward, the shoulders round forward. And we might even consciously feel the need to start to stretch the head back. Now, we might get stuck here or reach some kind of limitation because of the rounded shoulders and the rounding of the mid-back. So what we want to do is we want to retrain certain muscles to naturally start to stretch the shoulders back, allowing the head to easily come over the center of gravity position. Now we're going to do 3 different exercises here. One's called the Y, the other one's called the T, and the other one is the W. So when you're laying on the ground face down, you might want to put like a towel on the bridge of your nose so that you can allow yourself to be face down comfortably. And we're going to lift the arms up straight ahead, almost like you're in this Y position. And you're going to lift up straight off the ground. You're going to contract and squeeze the upper shoulder blade area together here. And that's going to, you're going to feel a little tense there. It's going to be very difficult. You're only going to hold this for about 3 to 5 seconds before you relax. Good. And you go ahead and do that again into the Y. And you're going to hold that for 3 to 5 seconds, and you're going to do anywhere from 10 to 20 repetitions. Now, the next one, we're going to move down into the T position here out to the side. So we went from a Y here, now we're moving into a T. And you're, again, same idea. You're lifting your arms up off the ground, and you're going to squeeze the shoulder blades together. And you're going to hold that for 3 to 5 seconds. Again, you're going to do the T for 10 to 20 repetitions. The next one, you're going to move down into the W. So the elbows are going to drop below the shoulders here. And when you squeeze up here, lift the arms up here, you're going to squeeze. Now it's going to shift from the middle down into the lower shoulder blade area. So you're moving more into the middle of the back. So we hit 3 different sections, the upper, the middle, and the lower part of the shoulder blades. All of these, the Y, T, and the W, you're basically imagining that you're touching your shoulder blades together. Now, some of you might find this to be quite difficult to do. So there is an alternate exercise. It's called the Superman. Lift up the arm, fingers pointed straight above the head, and you're going to lift up the opposite leg. Okay? And the toes will point straight down. Okay? Now switch to the other side. Now, a lot of times, you might start to lift the leg up too far, and that will start to rotate the low back. And that can really jam up the low back area and create some issues. So try not to lift up too far. Just slightly off the ground. So again, go ahead on the other side. Arm lifting off the ground, leg off the ground. You're going to hit this whole posterior chain all the way down into the glute area here. Hey there, I hope you enjoyed the video. Here's what I would like you to do next. Tag your friends or share it on your Facebook yourself. If you have any questions, write them in the questions and comments section below, and I will get back to you as soon as I can. Have a great day, and I'll see you soon.